The Supreme Court decided perhaps the two most politically charged cases of its term today on the final day of decisions before the court's summer break. In a big case about political districts that are drawn for partisan advantage, the Supreme Court dealt a huge blow to efforts to restrain that practice when it ruled that partisan gerrymandering lawsuits do not belong in federal court. There had been lawsuits in roughly a half dozen states in recent years that had sought to rein in the practice known as partisan gerrymandering. And today the court, with 5 conservatives appointed by Republican presidents in the majority and 4 liberals appointed by Democrats in dissent, said that those cases have no place in federal court. That's a huge blow to efforts to rein in the practice, although it does leave opponents of partisan gerrymandering with the opportunity to go to courts in some states to try to win court rulings there. After the 2010 elections, Republicans scored very big wins in a number of states, including in Michigan, in Ohio, and in Wisconsin. And their legislatures drew districts following the 2010 census that really reflected Republican aims and tried to maximize Republican gains in those states. Those maps were challenged in federal court, and federal judges had struck down those maps because they went too far on a partisan basis. The court said today federal courts have no authority to do that. So those cases are out. They can't be brought in federal court. In some states, the opponents of gerrymandering still will be able to bring partisan gerrymandering cases in state court under state constitutions, but not anymore in federal court. The other big case decided today involved the Trump administration's efforts to place a citizenship question on the 2020 census. And there, the Chief Justice joined with the 4 liberals to keep the question on hold, at least for now and possibly for good. The court sent the case back to the Census, to the Commerce Department, but it ruled that the reasoning that Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross had used to explain why he wanted to add the census citizenship question, that the reasoning was contrived, that it wasn't a good explanation for why the question was to be added. There's some question about whether the administration might have enough time to come up with a better explanation. On the other hand, the Census Bureau and the Justice Department have argued rather strenuously that they must start printing the census forms by July 1st, which is next week, in which case there really wouldn't be any time. But we have not yet heard from the White House or the Commerce Department about its plans.